Hi there. Welcome back. This is Tim. And thanks for spending a little one-on-one time with me. I hope everything's been going smashingly for you. We are in the first week of March 2026. Kind of hard to believe that we're already 3 months into the new year, but like they say, time goes by pretty quick. And if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. I am Tim, as I've mentioned earlier, and just wanted to do my reach out and spend a little one-on-one time with you and see how everything's going. Hope everything is going good for you and your winter is winding down and we're getting ready for the daylight savings time to come around, which, I don't know, I've always been I wouldn't say I hate daylight saving. I guess there's no other way I can put it. I was trying to be all like good and I don't know. I can't even think of the word, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, daylight saving time sucks. I hate it, and I wish it would just go away. I don't understand why we still do it. Of course, it's always funny that every year they always bring it up in like Congress or whatever and vote on it, and they need the argument, we need to abolish it and get rid of it. It causes problems and it makes people unhealthy and everything. And I fully agree with all that. I don't understand the philosophy of still doing it years and years when we don't even need to be doing it. It makes no sense to me. I could even the fallback, I could give a shit about fallback, but I especially hate spring forward because, like everybody, like all of us, we spring forward and we lose an hour. So that's like, well, what the hell's good with that? Because instead of being 6 a.m., it is now 7 a.m. Is it? Yeah, that's how it works out. Yeah. Duh. Figure it out, Tim. And then just trying to get used to the whole new time change. And it's just, I don't know, when I was working nights, it was no big deal. And I work nights now too, so it's still no big deal. But I like to get up early well, not early, but I like to get up and do all the things I need to do during the day before work so I don't have to try worrying about doing them later in the night at work. But yeah, if we could just all collectively get together and agree that daylight savings time just needs to stop. We just need to stop doing it. There's just no reason to keep doing it, and I don't understand. And I keep, we as a state here have already voted to stop doing it. But yet, of course, federally, they still are figuring out how to, I don't know. It's like they're dragging their heels. It's not an important issue, so there's really no reason to get it done quickly. So, and they're not. So there you go. So yeah, that's those are my 2 cents on daylight savings time. I'm sure it's not a secret that pretty much everybody just is tired of daylight savings time. I'm just going out on a limb, and I'm assuming you're tired of daylight savings time. But if you're not, hey, just let me know, and let's talk about it. Because like I say, for the fall is okay, but the spring can go fuck itself. So, but yeah, other than that, we've been having a very mild winter where I'm at. I don't know how the winter is in your area. If it's not mild and you are on the East Coast and just continuing getting hammered by snow, well, I'm sorry to hear that because we've got sunshine and 50s to 60 degree days, and my bulbs don't know what the hell's going on, and so they're already starting to poke out of the ground. And this time of year always makes me nervous. Excuse me. As I was saying, this time of year always makes me nervous when we've had a mild winter, because then my bulbs pop up, then you never know if there's just one last little burst of snow or frost or freeze that is sneaking around the corner. Because, like I say, the bulbs are popping, my garden's starting to come alive, and the last thing I want to do, or last thing I want to see or think or have happen, is a little freezing snap coming through here and just obliterating all that, because it's happened before and it's not fun. It kind of sucks. Which always reminds me, many years ago, we moved into the house, our house, and I wanted to kind of put up a privacy hedge shade. And I didn't really have the money to build a fence, so I did some research and found some fast-growing shrubs that grow pretty tall, pretty fast, and 5 years, you'll have a pretty cool looking shrub hedge. And so I went out and bought a oh gosh, by 30, let's say 35. And I got the little tiny ones, and they're about $5 a piece, and planted those all up and made it through the year. And then this time of year, it was a mild winter, kind of like what we've been having. And then all of a sudden, that just cold snap comes through and just kills like all of them. Just boom. They all turned brown and they died. I was like, well, shit, that sucks. And so I always remember that whenever this time of year is mild and, you know, like I said, the first week of March, and it's like, okay, well, shit, is there something around the corner? Because I had to dish out another grand to buy another round of shrub hedges. And of course, the second time I planted them, I made sure and wrapped them and wrapped them all tight and all snug, and because I wanted them to survive. Because, well, if they died the second time, then I would have had to come up with another situation. Because I didn't, like I said, I didn't have $7-8 grand to put up a big old 6-foot fence. But yeah, so, you know, like I said, this time of year, I should say, always makes me nervous when it just has been nice. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of when we get to March and it's not been incredibly cold winter-wise. Sorry, I got some serious scratchy throat going on. I don't know what the hell's going on. But, so what else is going on? You know, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about on this episode. One, might as well just get this one out of the way. R.I.P. to Robert Duvall, who passed away the 15th of February. He passed away after the last time I talked to you. And it's always sad when, when you lose a celebrity. And Robert Duvall is one of those guys where he's always kind of been around. He does stuff that it's while he passed it, you never really think of him as a starring leading man, I guess. He's always been in the supporting cast, backup, but he's always done a great job doing it. And he's been in so much stuff that I guess you kind of take him for granted. And it's always sad. And it's sad, but the guy lived a full life. I mean, for crying out loud, he was 95 years old. So, it's not like he died young. So we got, my 50 plus years of Robert Duvall. And so, his, as they say, his work is kind of the lasting legacy of him. And when I think of all the great movies that, I have or seen or watched, he's been in most of them. Like I say, when he did pass, I kind of flipped through the old movie collection just to kind of see, and it's amazing how many movies I have that he's actually in. The Godfather was one of the, first gangster movies I remember watching. It's long, but it's good. And then he was in Falling Down with Michael Douglas, and that movie kicks ass. That's a great 90s movie. If you've never seen Falling Down with Michael Douglas, I highly recommend checking that one out, because that's a great watch. It's kind of funny when it came out. It was so basically quick synopsis of this movie. It's just a guy who he's trying to go to work and he's trying to go see his daughter on her birthday, and it just one thing after another keeps getting in his way. His car breaks down. He gets stuck in traffic. He's trying to get breakfast at a fast food restaurant, but obviously he gets there after the breakfast window is closed, and so he's pissed about that and just kind of reaches his point, and he just boom goes crazy. No, not goes crazy, but he just acts out, I guess is a better word. But no, it's a good movie. Like I say, Michael Douglas, Falling Down, and then he was in. And then Robert Duvall was the cop trying to chase him down and bring him to justice, and then of course later he was in the Will Ferrell soccer comedy Kicking and Screaming. He was Will Ferrell's dad, and he was pretty funny in that movie too. And if you've never seen that one's good. That's got Iron Mike Ditka as the neighbor to the Robert Duvall character. I can't remember what his character's name off the top of my head, but they have the neighborhood rivalry going on, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty good interactions between Mike Ditka and Robert Duvall, and of course he was in Apocalypse Now, and just so many great movies that 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 2000s, and he's been there. I mean, if you don't know who he is, if you look up a picture of him, you'll probably realize or recognize him because he's been in so much stuff. He's always just, hell, he was in a Schwarzenegger movie, the Sixth Day. He was the scientist in that movie, and so spoiler alert, we'll be talking about that one in the future on the Arnold or Stallone podcast. But yeah, so a little Robert Duvall love, and like I say, he was 95 years old, so it's not like he was young. He lived a full, long life, and R.I.P. Robert Duvall. You'll be missed, and maybe I'll go watch a Robert Duvall movie here later on today, but never know. So, but yeah, so I also wanted to talk about, with this podcast that I do, I kind of find little things to just get that I want to talk about. And we've been kind of going into, if you've listened to the past episodes, there's always been an album review that I've done. Of course, it all depends on what's being released, if it's even worth my time to listen to it and talk about it. And this one that just was released last week kind of made me think, well, maybe I should. And then, I haven't listened to this guy for years. Spoiler alert, it's the new Rob Zombie album. Before I get into my thoughts on it, I hadn't listened to Rob Zombie for years. Rob Zombie's kind of one of those things where you need to be in the right frame of mind. And if you hear one thing, you kind of hear, he kind of has the same sound throughout what he does. And I remember Rob Zombie, of course, first listening to him with the White Zombie. I can't even say it. But yeah, with the White Zombie stuff, I remember when it came out, it was different. I want to give him that. The thing about it is for me, it's re-listenability. If I can't listen to it, say, once or twice, or, if I listen to it once or twice and then I'm kind of done, then I don't come back to it, then I don't really put any more time into it because it doesn't interest me. And that's kind of how White Zombie stuff was, especially that last White Zombie album they did. The problem with that one is they just, either I listened to it too much or they overkilled it on the radio. And of course, I'm talking about the Astro Creep 2000. Whenever I hear a song off that I don't listen to the radio, but if it comes up on a Spotify random play, I always skip it. It doesn't do it for me. I always I guess I do have a funny story about when I was still kind of listening to Rob Zombie. I've seen him live. I mean, I'm going to give him that he does put on a great live performance. It was great, loud, pyrotechnics, theatrics, visuals, just whatever when you see his music videos, it's all that stuff wrapped up on a live stage. So that was cool. And so I remember years ago I was working at Target doing retail stuff, and I remember I'm not one to try to get to see all my coworkers were younger people, so I wasn't trying to relate to them or trying to become the cool old guy friend. But I would talk to them, and it always interests me what younger people think of, say, stuff I was interested in. And I always remember one of the Rob Zombie albums that came out, I forget which one it was coming out, and I was working with a couple 19-year-old, right out of high schoolers, and I asked one of the guys, I'm like, yeah, Rob Zombie, you listen to Rob Zombie? And he was like, yeah, when I was in 7th grade. And then I was kind of like, made me laugh internally because it's like, yeah, that is kind of 7th grade. You go through those angst. Same with Marilyn Manson. Oh, yeah, I want to rebel against the world. Rob Zombie, he's cool, he's scary, he's different, whatever, fill in the proper adjective here. But it made me laugh because it was like so true. I never realized it at the time that, like I say, I was never a huge fan of Rob Zombie. I didn't buy his stuff day one. I would never wait in line to see his show. I would never, like I say, just got to have a day. I got to be the first one, rocking the Rob Zombie gear. I may have owned one shirt years ago just because I thought the picture looked cool. Other than that, though, I could really give a shit about repping the Rob Zombie merch, as they say. But yeah, I always remember that because he was just so, and it was so nonchalant for him to see. Yeah, 7th grade I was a huge Zombie fan, and I'm like, okay, you got me there because You've been out of seventh grade long. I've been out of seventh grade even longer. So touche on that one. But not that that was the reason for me to stop listening to Rob Zombie. Because, like I say, I don't give two shits what anyone says. If I like it and they don't, who cares? If you don't have to like what I like, and that's fine. And I may not like what you like, and that's fine too. And I can poke fun at you for it, and you can poke fun at me for it, and I'm not going to get all butthurt. There's no reason for that. But yeah, so anyhow, that was my kind of, I guess, the intro to Rob Zombie. Like I say, I saw him live, and then after that, I kind of slowly just drifted away from listening to him. He just never really was in my top all-time favorites of, artists I like listening to. Yeah, they're catchy. He's got some, cool lyrics or whatever, and the videos are cooler and the whatever. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's a niche thing. Kind of the same thing with, like I say, Marilyn Manson is the same thing. It's like, you either liked him then, and now you kind of see through the shtick, and it's like, oh, you're still doing this? Yeah, it's not 1997 anymore. You can maybe change, but if that's something you like, then hey, cool. Who am I to say what you should and shouldn't like? Like I say, it don't matter to me. So having said that, the Spotify, if you're familiar with it, will always show upcoming releases that you may be interested in. And I saw the Rob Zombie, and the album's called The Great Satan. And like I say, it didn't pique my curiosity. I wasn't putting it on the save, listening to now. If it came up, it came up. If it didn't, yeah, whatever. I'm pretty sure my life would have been the same regardless of whether I listened to it or not. But he had released a single, and it randomly came up. And obviously, if you know Rob Zombie's sound, and you haven't listened to him forever, and it just comes around, then you know that's Rob Zombie. It's very distinct sound that he has, and it's good. It's like, or it's it is what it is, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. If I could just spit it out properly, but it is what it is. It's whatever. And so I listened to the first single, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Second single came out, I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then, which is funny, had I not thought about doing, or had I not done in the past, say like when I did the Megadeth album review, if I didn't want to talk about it on the podcast, I would have never listened to it. Those same guidelines go for this one. If I never wanted to talk about it on the podcast, if something better came out that week, I would talk about that. But it's kind of like, well, shit, I guess I got 30 minutes to fill here, so let's figure something out. And I guess Rob Zombie's Great Satan coming out is just probably the little time filler that I needed to pad up this runtime so I can get in my 30 minutes that I'm contractually obligated to fulfill for you. But yeah, so Rob Zombie, Great Satan, started playing it. Let's see, it came out on the 27th of February. And just blank there. Yeah, 27th of February. Put it on to listen to it. It's okay. The one thing I'll say about this, maybe not the one thing, but what I'm going to say about this, it starts out pretty good. The first song is F.4, has a very White Zombie kind of sound from the early 90s, which I kind of dug, actually. I'm not going to lie. It kind of grabbed me a little bit. It's like, okay, it's a little different than some of the other stuff he's done. Granted, the last album that I bought of his was The Sinister Urge. No, that's a lie. I actually bought Educated Horses. That's how much that album did not impress me, is I totally forgot that I bought it. But yeah, that was the last one I ever bought. I think the last one I ever listened to, oh God, I can't even, let's see. Let me do a quick, it's been a while. I don't even think the last one was the Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy. No, never listened to that one. No, never listened to that one. So it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've listened to a Rob Zombie album. And so I guess maybe that time, or the time away, could have made it an enjoyable experience. But then the second song is called Tarantula, and this song is what I would think of Rob Zombie later in his career. This is the song I think of where it's kind of like, yeah, again, the whole Rob Zombie thing, he's very influenced by the horror movie scene. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, when he's taken the stage name of Zombie, you would kind of think, oh, he probably likes 70s and 80s horror movies. Who doesn't? I mean, come on, they were pretty bloody and cheesy and gory and great. So, and a lot of his songs reflect that taste of movies and the genre and all that and everything. And so, Tarantula was kind of forgettable. Just looking at it, I honestly forgot about it until I just looked and saw it on the track list. And he's got a couple other, and then Heathen Days was one that he released. That one was kind of generic, really. It's one of those where they keep chanting the same thing over and over again, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's got a pretty good beat, but you're just saying the same two words basically over and over again. And then got a song about the Wolf Man, and then we got the Punks and Demons and Devil Man, and it's just kind of goes on from there. Like I say, nothing really jumps out at me. I don't think I'll really ever listen to it again. Even like I say, with the tracks or the previously released tracks, I never really saved them, so they only got into my rotation just because I listened to them like once or twice. Again, if you know Spotify and you listen to something once, hey, guess what? They're gonna freaking play it over and over again until you finally, I don't know, either have to block it or delete it or just move on to something else. And that's kind of how I feel about the Rob Zombie. Let's see, it was the Heathen Days. Punks and Demons was another one that was released before that I'm not gonna, like I say, I'm trying to read here and talk at the same time. That's probably why I'm coming across like I'm running out of things to say. But yeah, it would just, I don't know. If you like Rob Zombie, this is right up your alley because this is the same shit he's kind of put in or put out over the years. There's some funk, there's some weird synth stuff that kind of didn't really fit for me, but again, this isn't my forte. I wasn't looking forward to a new Rob Zombie album. Like I say, I always wasn't in fucking the 7th grade waiting for the Rob Zombie album, and the covers it reminds me a lot of an old Ministry album in the early 2000s where he's all got himself all like in a weird crucifix type position, kind of not really, arms up, and it's all black and white. And so it's only a half hour long, or 40 minutes long to be correct, 38 minutes. It's funny looking at that runtime now. Listening to it, I would have thought it was longer than that. It's kind of bad when it's like, oh my God, is this still going on? Let's see how many songs we got on here. We got 15 songs for 38 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, that seems like, that's Sing It. Just, wow, I would have never guessed. I would have thought at least it was a 45-minute long, but 45-minute long playtime. But no, like I say, it was, it was what it was. I was not a fan, so I can't sit here. I'm not going to completely destroy it like I did with the Megadeth for, that album was garbage because I'd listened to Megadeth since basically the beginning of their career, and to be sent off with that hunk of shit that they tried passing as come see us one more time. It's like, yeah, no, I'm good. You guys can go ahead and ride off into the sunset, and I'll be fine with that. So, but yeah, like you said, The Great Satan, if you're curious, check it out. If it's on Spotify and you have Spotify, hey, obviously go ahead and check it out because it's not, costing you anything. Well, outside of your monthly subscription, as far as buying a physical copy. Which, come on, let's be honest. How many of you out there actually still buy physical media? Raise your hand if you do, and if you do, awesome. Because you know what, I still do. Because there's one coming up here the next 2 weeks or so that I'm kind of a new album's coming out. I guess I'll just talk about a little bit. It's the new Exodus album coming out. I believe it's the 18th of March. I could be wrong. I pre-bought it. again, if you've listened to me or anything, you know that I still buy Blu-rays and DVDs and CDs just because it's physical media. I hold it in my hand. I own it. Same with, like I say, movies and stuff. Sure, you could buy them digital. And if I buy a movie and it comes with a digital code, I will definitely take advantage of that. But I always say that you may not always have the internet, and so you may not always be able to access the digital movies or music that you have. And so if I have the actual physical media, then if I'm, say, camping, or I always think, not that if it ever came to this, that's the last thing I would think of, but let's say nuclear holocaust and I'm stuck in my house and heaven forbid I still have electricity but no internet. Well, guess what? I could still plug in a Blu-ray player and watch a Blu-ray that I still have. So, I mean, really, you're thinking about it, a nuclear holocaust, the last thing you're thinking about is watching movies, but hey, that's where my brain goes. So that's just how I function. But yeah, so like I say, the new Exodus is coming up, and when it does, I'll talk about that one, because that one, I've liked Exodus since like 1988. Their singer is the singer at the time, I really enjoyed his vocals. Something about me is I enjoy distinct vocals. I like screeching. I like kind of screaming, but if it's done well, I guess I could categorize it as very well produced screaming. That's how I think of it. And I was fortunate enough to see Exodus in 2022 open up for Testament, who's another great band I've been listening to for a long time, and that was killer. And so anyway, fast forward, the Exodus vocalist had left the band, came back, left again, and then he got fired. And so they, during one of his going away and coming back, they had brought on Rob Dukes, which is, he's a quality vocalist in his own. I'm not going to say anything bad about him, but he's not the same as Zetro. And so the albums that they put out with Dukes were decent, but like I say, for me, if the vocals don't really grab me, then it's kind of like it's hard to get into. And so fast forward to last year where they fired Zetro, brought back Dukes, and so now during this whole thing, I don't think Zetro's ever coming back, because he's come back like 2-3 times, and I think this is the end. And so we're gonna be with Dukes, and if something were to fall out with them, then I'm sure they'll get someone else. But so anyhow, they released a new song with Dukes singing, and like I say, it's not bad, but it's not the same. So I'm kind of I'm not excited as I should be for a new Exodus album. But like I say, I pre-bought it, and so when it gets here and I listen to it, then I'll talk about it. It'll probably be on the next month's one-on-one with Tim. But yeah, which actually reminds me, because next week I'm going to Portland, Oregon to see Testament, Overkill, and Destruction, and I was thinking about trying something different, trying something new. It may not come out next week. I think next week we have something else, and Everything Else Extravaganza coming out. But I think the week after, I'm going to try to introduce a whole new, different one-on-one. So you might get 2 one-on-ones with Tim this month, but it's still up in the air right now. But if you want more, you may get more. But yeah, there we go. Sorry, production value. What can I say? But yeah, so keep your ears peeled for that one. So I'm going to try something different, and we'll see how it works out. So, but other than that, and I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. I didn't realize I didn't do this last time, but I gypped you guys on a Tales from the Road last month, and I didn't even realize it until I re-listened to it, and I was like, oh, I didn't do that. So I want to go ahead and give you one. I might even give you 2, just to kind of make you, or make up for the last month's fumble of giving you stories of me, what I see on the road as a regional truck driver. This one is the first time I saw an automobile stop and catch fire. That was, so it's probably, I believe it was last winter, if not the winter before. It may have been the winter before, now that I think about it. January sometime, I forget exactly. I was just coming back from my delivery, going back to the warehouse to unload my unhook my trailer and clock out and go home, and getting off the freeway, and on the freeway exit, there's a car sitting there right on the side of the road. People are kind of running around it, kind of like just think of the old Chinese fire drills. If you're a kid of the 80s, remember the Chinese fire drill. That's what it kind of looked like. They're running around, and I thought it was a little bizarre until I get a little closer and I see the interior of the dash is it's on fire. There's flames kicking out of the steering column of this car. And granted, I'm still probably about 500, 600 feet away, and I'm slowly coming up. And they're like right in the middle of the road, so there's really like nothing I can really do. I mean, I was able to get around them, but by the time I got up to them, I had literally watched the car go from a small fire behind the steering column to fully engulfed the entire car. Just a huge blaze of flames just shooting up into the air, the night sky, snow on the ground. The roads were still kind of icy, so that was kind of interesting. And I was able to kind of sneak around it and get where I needed to go. And they're trying to take little bottles of water and put it out, and they're throwing handfuls and handfuls of snow on the fire, and it's not doing anything. You're not helping the cause there. That car is gone. It's completely engulfed in flames, and that was wild. So that was the first time I ever saw a car catch fire. Now the second time I saw a car catch fire was probably just last winter. I do have video of that. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and let you check that one out. But that was kind of, I was literally probably about 300 yards from the warehouse to get to, again, it was Saturday night. It was probably about midnight. It wasn't that late, but it was about midnight. And there was a car fleeing the police, from what I found out later, had ended up wrecking at a traffic circle, one of those roundabout things that they got popping up all over the place now. And so it had wrecked, and the lady was pulled out of the ground. There was probably 20 to 25 sheriff's cars, lights flashing. And of course, as I'm coming to it, there's no wait or nothing telling me, hey, don't go that way, because I had nowhere to turn around. So I'm literally stuck watching this and pull her out. And as they're pulling her out, the car just starts flipping, flames start kicking out of underneath the hood. And all of a sudden it just gets bigger and bigger. And then before you know it, that whole car was engulfed in flames. And that was wild. That was about 35 minutes of just sitting there watching them take this chick who was running from the cops, and then the fire department had to come and put out the fire, and it was pretty intense. So yeah, so those are a little two tales from the road from Tim. Just like I said, to kind of make up for last month's complete forgettal of doing it. The memory was not there, and I just completely forgot about it. So, but. Yeah, I think we're done here. There's nothing else I really want to talk about. So I hope you have a good week. And like I say, next week we're going to be back with another everything else. Another everything else extravaganza. And then 2 weeks from today, I'm going to try something different. So I hope that lands well. So until then, I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you.